So I'll first say, I really look forward to seeing everybody. If you're not going to the national convention, then hopefully we'll be meeting again in person for our VACO convention. Because if you know me, you know that I'm an enormous extrovert. I love VACO and NACO, and I just miss everybody, to be quite honest. And I can't wait to see you all again, not in the little Brady Bunch boxes. And I hope you're all healthy and your families are healthy. So I'm supposed to talk in 10 minutes about the role of a county supervisor. And I thought about this a lot, and it was interesting because if I had done this a year ago, I could have told you a lot of things about how great it was and it's going to be fine. But since you've been here for a year and through a 100-year pandemic, I can't really tell you that stuff anymore because you know better already, right? You figured that stuff out. And so I thought I would do this. Thought I would say, if you want to know the technical role of a county supervisor, pick up this book and read it. It's a fantastic book, and it tells you all the things. It's a supervisor's manual, which you should know how to be a supervisor technically. Talk to your county administrator, read this book, and you'll get all the technical ins and out of being a supervisor. But I'm going to tell you what it really is to be a supervisor, which is not always the same thing as what's in this book. And I have 4 words for you. The first word I would say is the word build. A supervisor has to, amongst other things, and maybe the most important thing, is build community. And that's not the easiest thing to do, especially in a hyper-partisan environment. I always say to people, once you are elected, you stop being a political person and you become a policy and community person. You put the politics aside and you focus on the job. So the first thing is build community. The second thing is build relationships. Right now, the board that I chair, and I'm actually a chair at large, so I'm an elected chair, has 6 Democrats and 3 Republicans. I chaired the board last term with three Democrats and 6 Republicans. And it doesn't matter. You have to build relationships with your colleagues, with the staff that your staff is going to be so important, not just your staff, but the county staff, and with your constituents. The third build I say is build bridges. And I don't mean the literal bridges, I get to that in a sec, but there are times when there are just a lot of hurt feelings, things that happened 5 years in the past, 10 years in the past, 15 years in the past that you had nothing to do with at all, but it doesn't matter. We're supposed to try to build as many bridges as we can, as often as we can. And then the fourth build I have is, yes, build roads, build schools, build buildings. We literally are in the building business. About 70% of what most of us will do is land use and zoning. And so if you don't like the really geeky work of land use and zoning, you're probably not in the right job. So that's the first word I have, build. The second word I have is communicate. By profession, I'm a mental health therapist, and so I communicate it for a living. But I will tell you, being a supervisor requires you to communicate all the time, constantly, and consistently. So how do you do that? One, you want to have town halls and meetings with your constituents as often as you possibly can for the needs that you want. It's one thing to put it on social media, send it out in the newsletter, but being there in person really means something to people. Secondly, I would say yes. I use my newsletter pretty effectively. I send a newsletter out once a month, and anytime I need to for any other issues to come out. So if you have an electronic means with the other than social media, use it. If you have a newsletter, use it. Send it out. Tell people what's going on, what's coming up, all those types of things. I also do use social media, and when I first became elected and I went to this meeting in VACO my first year, people were kind of laughing at me because I was like, at every break I would, put something on my Facebook page, my Chair Randall Facebook page, or text something out or tweet something out. Use your social media effectively, and use the social media, and this is my warning, use your social media to communicate to people, not to have long back and forth, because back and forth on social media can get really convoluted really quickly. Communicate with other elected officials. You are the liaison often to state elected officials and to federal elected officials. So communicate with other elected officials really pretty often. And of course, during your meetings, make sure you have a time in your meetings for public comment. And when you have public comment, my best advice to you is when the public comes to speak to you, set everything else aside. Don't be texting during public comment. Don't eat during public comment. Don't look away during public comment. When the public is speaking to you, that is the most important part of your meeting. Give them your full 100% undivided attention. Thirdly, you have to play a role. And this is the biggest role I learned that county officials play. You have to pretend that all other elected officials have a job more important than county elected officials. They do not. General Assembly members and gosh knows members of Congress and believe that they have the most important elected jobs in the world. They are wrong. We have the most important elective job in the world. You know, it's often said that the most important job is the job closest to the people, and that is true. Most General Assembly members, I have a constituency of 425,000 people. Mr. McKay has a constituency of over 1.2 million people. You will not find a General Assembly member with a constituency of over about 230,000 people. Our constituencies are huge and important. They also know who we are, right? They see us in the grocery store, in church, in the park. They see us and they will stop us at any time and ask us about the broadband or that pothole in the street or all those types of things. And so I know all other elected officials want to tell you how to do your job and all those things. And we go to an event, the state senators get introduced first, and the state delegates and y'all get to get introduced first. What I've decided is they're saving the best for last. So they save the county elected officials for last. And that's a good thing because truthfully, we are in the most important jobs. And finally, I will say my last word is take it. Take it. There are times you have to just take it. Take responsibility, even if you may not feel it's your fault. Sometimes take the blame for things that may not be something you've done. Take time to listen. That's the most important part of this job is listening. Sometimes people just want someone to yell at, to feel their pain. You know, during the pandemic, that's happened often. With you being a local elected official, that person they want to hear their pain is you. That person that is close enough to yell at is you. But you're also the person that they're going to share with about their daughter's baby, their new grandbaby, or their grandmother's 100th birthday. That also gets to be you because you see them all the time. So take it. And the last take I will say is take time for yourself. If you're a prayerful person, take time to pray. Take time to take a bubble bath. Take time for a walk. Take time to read a book does not have the word zoning or ordinance in the book. Just take time for yourself. Taking time for yourself is important. This job can be all encompassing. It can totally overwhelm you, and you have to just decide that you're going to put some time apart for yourself. I'm going to leave you before I go to my credit rating meeting with my favorite quote. It's from John Wesley. And it really encompasses what it is to be a supervisor. It says, do all the good that you can by all the means that you can, in all the ways that you can, at all the times that you can, to all the people you can, for as long as you possibly can. That's what being a county supervisor is. And by the way, I love this job. I wake up every morning and I absolutely pinch myself because I get to be the chair of Loudoun County, Virginia. So I wish I could join you later today, but I got to go to a credit union meeting. I will see you all in hopefully next month. I see so many faces. Cheryl, my good, lovely friend, Andrea Bailey, I love you so much. Dean, we'll talk soon. And Jeff, all the things you said about creating new friendships that will last a lifetime, very, very true. And although I give Jeff McKay a hard time, I count him amongst those people who I'll have a lifelong friendship with. I gotta go. Thanks, everybody.